Welcome back to Chemistry Live UGPG YouTube channel. So today we will talk about introduction of fundamentals of chemistry practical class. So this will be highly beneficial for BSc and MSc chemistry students under CBCS syllabus. So I have a simple message for you. So always you please think for innovation, be creative, learn smartly everywhere, anytime, and help to learn others. So today we will talk about the safety measures need to be taken inside the chemistry lab. So suppose some accident will occur. So what are the things you need to do fast as fast aid? And today we will recognize different glasswares or things or instruments generally used in the chemistry lab. And we will talk about normality, molality concept and how to prepare one normal, one molar and one molal solution. And also we discuss about different types of titrations and basic equations used for calculation. And what are the experiments students will carry out in the chemistry lab. So this is the beautiful view of a nice chemistry lab. So here you will find water taps, basins, Bunsen burners, reagent racks, reagents, a fire extinguisher, test tube stand, blackboard, working tables, etc. So when you enter to chemistry lab, so first thing is safety. So you must maintain discipline during the laboratory class. The students must wear apron, safety glass, hand gloves and full shoes while working in the laboratory for their safety. They must clean the glassware properly before and after use, and they should check the glassware that the glassware have no cracks. Never perform any unauthorized experiments on your own, and never test or inhale any compound because those are toxic. Always keep the mouth of the test tube away from yourself and others while heating in a burner. They must read the labels carefully before taking any chemical from the container. And students must be very careful while handling chemicals such as acids, benzene, phenols, etc. And fume hoods must be used while carrying out different reactions and toxic chemicals. Please put the wastes such as papers, solvents, broken glasses and reaction byproducts into the respective labeled containers or dustbins. And please use minimum quantity of the reagents because nowadays all chemicals are very costly. So after using a chemical, the container must be tightly closed and returned to its original place. And students are advised to clear their conceptual doubts, practical understanding and application of the experiment before doing that experiment. And they must follow experimental procedure strictly while taking chemicals, handling different apparatus, glasswares and instruments. They must handle glassware very carefully because they are fragile. Students are advised to report immediately to the concerned teacher if any accident or hazard occurs inside the laboratory. They must switch off the electrical instruments and turn off the gas burners and water taps after their work is over. So suppose some hazard or accident occurs inside the lab. So what will be your action? So as first aid. So suppose there is a cut due to glassware. Okay, so you have to wash the wound well with cold water immediately. If bleeding is severe, you have to apply pressure directly onto the wound to stop bleeding, then apply antiseptic cream. Suppose you have a body burn caused by acid. So you have to wash it with water, then with sodium bicarbonate solution, then apply Vaseline. If you have a burn caused by alkali, so wash the water, then with boric acid solution, then apply paste of boric acid for 10 to 15 minutes, then wash it. Suppose there is a bromine spilling. So wash it with water and then with 2 molar ammonia solution. Then keep the affected part dipped in sodium bisulfite solution till bromine is washed off, then apply Vaseline. So suppose there is a phenol spilling. So wash it with ethanol and then you go for hospital treatment. Spillage of an acid in eye. So what you have to do, you have to wash with plenty of water, then wash with 2% sodium bicarbonate solution, then put 2 to 3 drops of olive oil. Suppose there is a spillage of alkali in eye, so you have to wash it with plenty of water, then with dilute boric acid 5%, again clean it with water and put 2 to 3 drops of olive oil. Suppose there is a chemical poisoning, so suppose someone swallow a poisonous chemical, so plenty of water should be given, and for corrosive poison, calcium hydroxide solution should be given. So what are the minimum things a student will use inside the chemistry lab? First is apron, safety glass, full shoes, gloves, matchbox, lab, rough notebook and lab record. So here you can see a small boy is doing some experiment and he is wearing a apron. So apron is must inside the chemistry lab. So this girl, you can see the safety glass and wearing gloves for her safety. And inside chemistry lab, slippers and sandals are not allowed. So suppose there is a acid spillage, so that may cause harm to your skin. So please wear full shoes only. So these are the glasswares frequently used inside the chemistry lab. This one conical flask. So they are of different sizes. Similarly, this one beaker. This is called beaker. You can see the mark. They are of different sizes also. This one is a volumetric flask. So here you can see you have to. This is the line where this lower meniscus of the liquid should touch. So up to that mark, the lower, if it is that lower meniscus is touching, then it will be 1000 ml. Similarly, this tall tubular one, this is known as measuring cylinder. They are also of different sizes. You can see this one is 100 ml. This one is called reagent bottle, where you can store all your chemicals. So just above this conical flask, you see this is called glass funnel, and this is filter paper, Whatman filter paper. So you use this funnel and filter paper while filtering different things. These are called test tubes and it is stored in a test tube stand, and inside this there is a rod that is known as glass rod. This is used for stirring or mixing different things. So this one you can see this is called Bunsen burner. So it has three parts: metal base, and here you have a regulator called collar and burner tube. So when you put the gas on and light it with a lighter or matchbox, you will get the flame. So here you can see in the here you two distinct color. So this blue zone is called luminous flame, where you will find most of the carbon monoxide. And here outermost zone, and this one is the innermost zone. This one is known as flame blower. So this flame blower is used during charcoal cavity test to blow the flame into the cavity where the salt or compound will be taken in charcoal. This one is called double blue glass. This is used during flame test to see the colors. Then this one is called wash bottle. This is used to clean different glasswares and making up volumes. And this one called graduated bottle. So you can see up to this level, it is 900 ml. This one is called test tube holder. So here you can fix the test tube and hold it tightly so that you can use it while heating or mixing different things. And this one known as crucible tongue. So this is used to hold the hot items. This one known as watch glass. So this instrument is called a burette. So here you can take maximum 50 ml from 0 to 50 ml. It is marked and it is fixed here in a stand that is called burette stand, wooden. So nowadays lots of modern stands are coming. Okay. So this one is called pipette. So it is of also different sizes from 10 ml, 25 ml like that. And these are called graduated pipettes. You can see 2 ml, 3 ml, 5 ml, 10 ml. And these are called the pipette ball. And this is also called pipette bulb. So it is used to suck the different solution. This figure depicts digital weighing machine. So here you can take the weight of your chemicals accurately. This one is known as round bottom flask. So this is mostly used in carrying out different reactions. This one is the fume hood, where inside you can see different setups like air and the other safety features are also there. So you can see this is a simple small lab inside it. So you can do your all your experiments safely. And this is the magnetic stirrer with heating system. And this one is known as condenser. Sometimes you use this in synthesis process or preparation of different compounds. So this figure is a tripod stand, and above it is wire gauge. And this one is called porcelain basin, and this one water or oil bath you can use. So all these used to synthesize some different inorganic compounds. So next thing is we should talk about what is normality. So it is denoted by capital N. So normality is number of gram equivalents of solute per 1000 ml of solution. So suppose we want to prepare oxalic acid 1 normal solution. So first we have to find out molecular weight. So molecular weight is 126 gram per mole. So if you look at the reaction, 2 number of electrons are there. So equivalent weight will be called molecular weight divided by number of electrons in business. So equivalent weight will be 63 gram. So when we prepare 1 normal solution, so we have to dissolve 63 gram of oxalic acid, that is its equivalent weight, in 1 liter of solution or water. So the unit of normality is gram per liter. So next thing is how to prepare 1 molar solution. So what is molarity? Number of moles of solute per 1000 ml of solution. So suppose we want to prepare 1 molar solution of sodium hydroxide. So molecular weight is 40 gram per mole. So that means 1 mole equal to 40 grams of sodium hydroxide. So that means we can get 1 molar solution by dissolving 40 grams of sodium hydroxide in 1 liter of water. So the unit of molarity is moles per liter. Next thing is how to prepare 1 molal solution, 1 small m. So molality is denoted by small m. So m equal to number of moles of solute per kg of solvent or mass of the solvent in kg. So suppose we want to prepare 1 molal solution of sodium hydroxide. So molecular weight is 40 gram per mole. So that means 1 mole of sodium hydroxide equal to 40 grams. So that means we can get 1 molal solution by dissolving 40 gram of sodium hydroxide in 1000 gram of water or 1000 gram of solvent, or we can say 1 kg of solvent. So unit of molality is mole per kg. So now we will talk about what are the experiment the students will carry out inside the lab. So mostly they will carry out different types of titrations like acid base titration, redox titration, iodometric titration, complexometric titration. So in acid base titration, usually they will titrate the acid with a base. Similarly, in redox titration, one will be oxidized and other one will be reduced. And in iodometric titration, the liberated iodine will be titrated against sodium thiosulfate solution. And they will carry out inorganic, organic preparations or synthesis. They will do salt or organic compound analysis. And students will learn about how to use different types of instruments. So when we talk about the titration, here it is acid base titration. So acid react with a base like HCl react with sodium hydroxide. So the basic equation used here, 1000 ml of 1 normal HCl will be equal to the 1000 ml of 1 normal sodium hydroxide. So that is equal to equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide is 40 grams of sodium hydroxide. And during redox titration, suppose we are titrating iron solution with standard potassium dichromate solution. So here basic equation used is 1000 ml of 1 normal potassium dichromate equal to 1000 ml of 1 normal iron solution, that is equal to 1 gram equivalent of iron, that is equal to 55.85 grams of iron. Similarly in iodometric titration, so the liberated iodine will be titrated against 1000 ml of 1 normal sodium thiosulfate solution. So that is equal to 35.5 grams of chlorine. In summary, we talked about the safety measures need to be taken inside the chemistry lab and what are the things that we should do as first aid, and we recognize different glasswares, instruments and things generally used in chemistry lab, and we talked about the normality concept, molarity concept and molality, and how to prepare 1 normal, 1 molar and 1 molal solution. And we talked about different types of titrations and basic equations used for calculation. So we will be happy if you guys subscribe to our channel Chemistry Live UGPG. So this is also available in the website www.chemistryliveugpg.com. So this is a simple step towards e-learning, making life better. So thank you all for learning.